3D Cupcake Acrylic Nail Art Tutorial by Hotpinkzebrapolish. With Cover Pink, we're going to be forming the smile line. So get a nice large bead and pull the excess monomer out from the back, and then place that on the nail and blend that towards where the cuticle would be. And make sure you have a nice rounded smile line, but if it isn't perfect, you can always file that later. So then taking a wetter bead, fill in the back of it, and then smooth that over the first bead that you placed. Now I'm going to be filing the smile line, as I mentioned, so it's pretty simple, just using a thin file, go through and file that until it looks nice and perfect. Now I'm going to alternate between a glittery pink acrylic and blue, and then I'm adding stripes across the nail. And I'm going to put these at a diagonal. So then I'm not worrying about them curing in between, or hardening in between. I'm just going to keep going from one to the next, because if they do kind of blend up or smooth out between the two, works even better for you. So just keep adding the acrylic and stripes until you have filled in the nail. And then you're going to want to go back through, and because the first stripe added at a diagonal, there's going to be a little triangle where there's no acrylic, so fill that in this case with blue. So now I'm going to be gently filing that, and if you didn't want to do this step, you don't have to, but I'm just going to gently file it to smooth it out a little bit, because otherwise when you put the clear on, you can still see that it's not smooth. So then, as I just said, put a layer of clear acrylic over the entire nail. And when you're doing this, you're going to want to try and make it so that the cover pink that you placed in the tip are a nice smooth line, and you can't tell. It looks almost like they were done at the same time, that they're perfectly smooth and they look great. But if it doesn't get perfect, again, there's always filing, but the least, in my opinion, the least filing you can do, the better. Try and get it just as good as you can with the acrylic first. So then I'm going to be using, this is a 180 grit file, and I'm just going to be filing it until I think it's as good as it can get. And now I'm going to be using, this is a 240 grit file, and it's a padded file, and I'm going to remove the scratches that the other file left behind. So now for the cupcake, this is the fun part. Using white acrylic, get a medium-sized bead, and then flatten that out into a rectangle shape first, and then angle the sides in. So this is going to be forming like a trapezoid. And this is about 1/3 up from the tip of the nail. And then try and square off the edges the best that you can. It's not always easy, but do what you can. So now I'm going to be taking a flat edge cuticle pusher and making the indents in the wrapper. So now I'm using a light purple or a lavender, and I'm going to be forming the frosting. So I'm going to do my frosting in 3 different layers. So the first one is going to be a fairly large bead, and then I'm going to flatten it into like a long oval. And sorry, I was holding that off camera. So then the next bead that I place is going to be a little smaller, and is going to go just to the inside edge. So it's going to almost form a pyramid shape, and then sharpen that line where the two come together. And then the last one is the smallest bead yet, and first flatten it out just like you did the other ones. And then once you have that done, you're going to want to push your brush in and sort of flick up the little curl on the frosting. So now I'm going to be shading the frosting, so I'm taking a darker purple bead, and this is a fairly wet bead, and I'm just going to press it along the edge between the 2 shades, or the 2 layers of frosting. And so I'm going to be shading the bottom 2 layers. Don't worry about shading the top one, since there's not one above it, it won't create a shadow. And now using the same light pink glitter that I did before, I'm just going to add a little glitter to the top layer of frosting. And I'm going to be placing 5 purple gems along the cuticle, or the cuticle area rather. The first one I'm going to do is big, and it's darker purple, and then 2 lighter purple ones next to it, and 2 of a darker color after that. And then since the second to last stripe I have is blue, I'm going to be placing 5 blue gems along that stripe. Now if yours is pink, you'd want to do 5 pink. You know, you catch my drift. And what I'm using to apply them is I have some poster putty on the end of a brush, and that'll pick up the gems and place them wonderfully. It works really well. So then on the last stripe, I'm going to be putting 3 pink gems. And the same thing, if yours is blue, do blue. It's hard to plan what your stripes are going to end up being. So now I'm going to top coat with a glossy top coat everywhere around the cupcake, but I'm not going to top coat over the cupcake itself. And now with matte top coat, I'm going over the cupcake. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this design, and if you could share your recreations with me on Facebook and Twitter, I would love that. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!